السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم، أما بعد. يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. We are discussing the different incidents that took place upon the birth of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it is recorded in Fathul Bari. Fathul Bari is a commentary on Bukhari Sharif. It's recorded in there that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke within a few months of his birth. Unlike normally children would speak now, after period of time, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam had spoken just after a few months after his Mubarak birth. Hazrat Hassan bin Sabit radiyallahu ta'ala reports, I was a lad of 7 or 8 years old. Now when Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, Hazrat Hassan radiyallahu anhu was already about 7-8 years old. Hazrat Hassan was about 7 to 8 years elder than Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Hassan bin Sabit was the same Sahabi who was the poet. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a mimbar constructed. He used to make him sit on the mimbar and make him recite poetry. Whenever the kuffar would make poetry against Islam or against Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to tell Hazrat Hassan radiyallahu anhu that you defend Islam, you defend my honor, you defend Islam. So he would then compose poetry and recite poetry in answer to them. Whatever they say, he used to answer them. And then that famous poetry of his where he mentioned that وَأَحْسَنُ مِنْكَ لَمْ تَرَقَتُّ عَيْنِي وَأَجْمَلُ مِنْكَ لَمْ تَرِدِ النِّسَاءُ خُلِقْتَ مُبَرَّأً مِنْ كُلِّ عَيْبٍ كَأَنَّكَ قَدْ خُلِقْتَ كَمَا تَشَاءُ. This was his poetry. That more beautiful than you no eye has ever seen, more handsome than you no mother has ever given birth to. You have been created free from any blemish, as if to say you were created as you wished. So he says he was about 7 or 8 years old, and he was of understanding age now. He could understand what was going on. And he says one morning, all of a sudden, one Jew called out to the Jews there in Medina Sharif. So he called out to them. He says, "O gathering of Jews assembled together." So when they assembled, they asked that, "What's the matter? Why have you brought us together?" So he replied that the star which was to rise at the birth of Ahmad has appeared. In their scriptures, they already knew all the different signs that would take place upon the birth of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there was a star that would appear. That star was not present before, but upon the Mubarak birth of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the star would appear in the skies. So they were waiting for that star. So he seen that star, and he assembled the Jews and he told them that this star has appeared, meaning that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam is now born. But this was now in Medina Sharif. The Jews were in Medina Sharif. Hazrat Ka'b Ahbar narrates that Ka'b Ahbar was a Jew, later on accepted Islam. But he was a very senior Jewish scholar. So he narrates that the following distinct signs of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam have been mentioned in the previous scriptures. So what was mentioned with regards to Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Muhammad the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be born in Makkah Sharif. He will migrate to Yathrib. His place of hijrat will be Yathrib. Medina Sharif in those days was called Yathrib. And his reign will extend over Sham. That he will rule over Syria. Now Syria is not what we know it today. Syria was a much bigger land. Now it's been cut up into so many different countries, etc. But Syria was a very big piece of land. So what this meant was that all the regions extending from Makkah Sharif to Syria will fall under the control of Islam during the course of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life, in his life. Consequently, the world looked on as this entire area was gradually conquered by the Muslims while Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam was still living. Syria being the last to fall under their control during the final stages of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam's Mubarak life. It is therefore not surprising that the palaces of Syria were unveiled at the time of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam's Mubarak birth. That light that shone, and his mother, his honorable mother said, I could see the palaces of Syria, Basra. All this was a sign that wherever this light reached, all that was going to come under the banner of Islam while in the hayati of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is likely that the Syrian city of Basra was given particular mention since the beginning of the conquest of Syria was marked with victory in this city, and it went on to become the first to enjoy the beam of light that shone through as a result of prophetic guidance. Furthermore, the illumination of the palaces of Syria was also an indication that this country would in future be a center of Islam, wherefrom the light of Nubuwwat would disseminate. This is also why Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taken on a journey from Makkah to Sham, Masjid al-Aqsa. So this is Mi'raj, when Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taken from Makkah Sharif to Sham. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha narrates, she says that a Jew was in Makkah Sharif for trade purposes. He had come to Makkah to do some business. On the night that Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, so he started asking the Quraysh, he said, is there any child that was born tonight from you all, from the Quraysh? Is there any child that was born? So they explained to him, first the Quraysh, they said that no, we don't know. We don't know if any child was born. So this Jew, he said, no, go and find out. Go and investigate. Was there a child born tonight in the tribe of the Quraysh? So eventually they went and they investigated. And he told them also that when you go and look for this child, you must look. There will be a sign, there will be a mark between his Mubarak shoulder blades. Go and check if the child has been born, and there will be a mark also between his Mubarak shoulder blades. So when they went and inquired, etc., then they found out that Abdul Muttalib's grandson has been born, Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this Jew requested to be taken there. He wanted to go and see this baby. So he was taken, he was allowed to go. So when he went there and he saw Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he saw the seal of prophethood, because he wanted to see between the shoulder blades, he wanted to see the seal. When he saw the seal of Nubuwwat, he fell down unconscious. He fell down unconscious. And when he woke up, he said, alas, Nubuwwat is now no more in the Bani Israel. Nubuwwat is out of the Bani Israel. Prior to this, all the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam were coming in the Bani Israel. So when he woke up, he said, now Nubuwwat is not in the Bani Israel. And then he addressed the Quraysh He said, "O Quraysh, by Allah, this child will launch such an attack upon you, the word of which will spread across the east and the west." That is exactly what happened when Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam came. Fateh Makkah took place. What an attack that was, that no fight also had to take place. The Quraysh had to just give in. The Quraysh who were given the title of Quraysh because they were such a powerful tribe, we were explaining the other day, that the Quraysh means a big fish that can just devour the smaller fish. The same Quraysh tribe, in front of the force of Islam, they had to just bow their heads. They had to just bow their heads and allow for Islam to take over. This all happened here, Makkah Sharif, Medina Sharif, etc. Now we go abroad. Let's see what happened abroad. On the night that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born, there was an earthquake, like a tremor, that shook the palaces of Kisra. Now in that zamana there were two superpowers. One was the Persian superpower, the other was the Roman superpower. These were the two superpowers of that time. So Kisra, these were the rulers of Persia. The person who was the king of Persia, he was known as the Kisra, the Kisra of Persia. So these palaces shook. There was like a tremor by the palace of Kisra. And what happened was, 14 pillars of the palace collapsed. 14 pillars collapsed. Then also, you see, the Persians were Majusis. They were fire worshippers. And they had a fire that would burn 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 360 days a year. 65 Gregorian, 60 we say Islamic. So, in other words, at no time must that fire go off. They used to have people manning that fire all the time. That fire must never go off because that's their God. God can't go off. So they must keep the God on. So this fire just all of a sudden switched off. They couldn't stoke it. They couldn't put it up again. The fire just switched off. And then also what happened there was, the sea of Sawa, the place called Sawa, that sea dried up. That sea also dried up. So Kisra, all this worried him, but royal pride also, don't want to let go of his seat, etc. So this would not allow him to voice his concerns. But eventually, he summoned his ministers, he called them, and while they were in a meeting, the news that the fire also got extinguished, that news also came there. He didn't know about that fire. He saw the 14 pillars in his palace all of a sudden fell down. There must be some problem here. So he called his ministers to have a meeting. While they're having a meeting, somebody came with a message that that fire also went off. So this now increased his worry, his anxiety. And then what happened, you see, they used to have a mubizan. You see, in our terminology, we get like a grand mufti. In South Africa now we don't have, but in an Islamic country, you will get a grand mufti. So the grand mufti, he doesn't accept a grand per fatwa. That's not this thing. The grand mufti means if he passes a verdict, then that verdict is law. Finish. Nobody can oppose that verdict. If you got a difference of opinion, that's fine, that's for you, but the country will go by the verdict of the grand mufti. So in Persia they used to have a Mubizan. The Mubizan was like that. That he is now the grand, don't want to call him Mufti, he's stoking fire there, but he held like that maqam amongst them. What he said, that is law. So this Mubizan, he stood up there in the meeting and he told them that, look, last night I saw a dream. And in this dream, I saw a herd of powerful camels. These camels were on the move. And with them they were dragging Arabian horses. Together they crossed the Tigris and they spread throughout all kingdoms. All kingdoms were just falling. They just spread throughout all kingdoms. So Kisra asked this Mubizan, he said, what is the interpretation of the dream? The Mubizan said, it is likely that a matter of great significance will come to pass in Arabia. Something great that's going to happen there in Arabia. It is advisable that you send a message to your governor and ask him to send a learned person from his region to find out what's going on there. The Arabs will definitely know what is happening. So send somebody to go and do some investigation. Kisra accepted this advice and he sent a message to Nu'man bin Munzir instructing him to send any great alim, that means a person who is like learned, who would be able to answer his questions. Send this learned person to him, he got some questions to ask him. Nu'man bin Munzir sent a veteran scholar by the name of Abdul Masih Ghassani. See, Abdul Masih, they say the servant of Masih, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. They were all Christians, these people. But the Persians were fire worshippers. So he sent this Abdul Masih. And Abdul Masih, he lived a very long life, about 150 years. He lived for about 150 years. So when Abdul Masih arrived, Kisra asked him that do you have knowledge of everything I wish to ask you? Before he can ask him, he said, do you have knowledge of everything I want to ask you? So this Abdul Masih replied that, look, I will answer whatever I can, and whatever I don't know, I will direct you to someone who is more knowledgeable than me. So Kisra then narrated all these incidents. What happened, the dream of the Mubizan, all that, the fire went off, the Sawa sea dried up. So this Abdul Masih said, look, I've got an uncle, his name is Satih. This uncle of mine is very, very learned, very senior person. Allow me to go to him. I'm sure if I go and explain all this to him, he will be able to give me the answers. So he was sent, he was given permission that you can take leave from the royal court, you go and meet your uncle and come back. When this Abdul Masih reaches his uncle is in the throes of death. This Satih, he is now in his final stages, but he's still conscious. So when Abdul Masih came, so the Satih recognized his nephew and he says to him that you must have really rode very fast to come and meet me. There must be some very serious matter that you wish to find out. And now you have found me in the throes of death. But before this Abdul Masih could say anything, the Satih is telling him, looks like the king of Bani Sasan has sent you. I mean the king of the Persians, it's called them Sasan. He said, looks like the king of Bani Sasan has sent you to inquire about the earthquake that shook the palace. The sacred fire that was blown out and the dream of the Mubizan. That's what you have come to find out from me. And then he narrates the dream. The Satih is telling Abdul Masih the dream. He's telling him in the dream the Mubizan saw tough camels pulling Arabian horses, crossing the Tigris, and they are taking over so many kingdoms, etc. So Then Satih, he tells his nephew, he says, "Oh Abdul Masih," he says, "listen carefully. When the divine speech is recited in abundance, and when the one of the staff appears." Now you see, when you talk about the one of the staff, Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever he would read salah in an open place, so they would always put a sutra in the front. Sutra means you put something in the front, you poke it into the ground like a spear or something, so that if anybody goes past, or they can walk on the other side of the sutra, it doesn't disturb the salah. So it was generally Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala who used to have that spear with him. And whenever Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam needed to read salah, so that Bilal radiallahu ta'ala would go in front and he would poke the spear into the ground. That was his office, his duty. He would go and poke the spear into the ground, and Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam would perform the salah. Sahaba radiallahu anhu would be in the back. So the one of the staff is referring to that. So the Sati is telling him, when the divine word is recited in abundance, in other words, the Quran Sharif is going to come down, and these Muslims are not going to be like anybody else. They're going to read the Quran Sharif in abundance. Nights and nights they will recite the Quran Sharif. So when this word of Allah Ta'ala is going to be recited in abundance, and when the one of the staff will appear, and the valley of Samawa begins to flood, and the area of Sawa dries up, and when the fire of the Persians blows out, then Syria will no longer remain Syria for Satih. Some men and women of the Bani Sasan, 14 will reign. He's saying the Persians, they got chance for 14 rulers. That's why 14 pillars fell. There are only 14 more Persian rulers will rule. After that, the Persian superpower will come to an end. That will be the end of the Persians. So when this message came back to Kisra, so Kisra said that I've got time. If 14 people are going to rule, so this will take a long time. But in a matter of 4 years, 10 rulers were finished. And the other 4 lasted till the Muslims came and took over Persia. So in a very short while, that 14 rulers fell. Normally those rulers would rule for 50 years, 60 years, one. But these 14 just fell, one after the other, they fell. The last of the Persian rulers was dethroned in the zamana of Hazrat Usman radiallahu ta'ala. In his zamana, the last Persian ruler was wiped out. Allama Tabri, a great scholar of Islam, so he has written that the Persian king Parvez ibn Hormuz, one of the kings, his name was Parvez. Pakistan too had one. Parvez. This Parvez ibn Hormuz, he once dreamt that a person came to him and commanded him to give all that was in his hand. He must give everything that's in his hand to the companion of the staff. After this dream, King Parvez remained extremely perturbed and uneasy until at last his governor Nu'man ibn Munzir informed him about the appearance of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Makkah Sharif. The king then realized that his kingdom would soon be conquered by this Nabi. Even Heraclius, he knew everything is going to go, but pride doesn't allow a person. The pride doesn't allow a person to submit. That's why it's such a terrible disease, pride. Shaitan also is pride. didn't allow him to make sajda to Nabi Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. We too, if we look into our lives, it's our pride that doesn't allow us to submit to Allah Ta'ala's commands. Maybe not pride to that degree, but we think we can have an opinion. We think that we can do what we like. I don't feel like doing that now. Now this is what the Tasawwuf is all about. To get rid of that I. See that I, that ana, me. To get rid of that. Because Hazrat Rahmatullahi, just came in my mind right now. Hazrat Rahmatullahi used to say that the sheep, it makes meh, meh, meh. The sheep. And when it keeps making meh, meh, then what happens? Then the butcherman, he slaughters the sheep. So insan also, when he keeps saying I, he thinks he's somebody. I, me who? Maybe koi who? I'm also someone. I can also have an opinion. I can put him right, sort that one out. I can do this and I can do that. Then the knife must come. The knife must come. Anyone who claimed greatness in the world perished. Everyone and anything that claimed greatness perished. Very quickly perished. So in Tasawwuf, the whole object is to get rid of, they call it fana'iyat, to get rid of that ana, that I am somebody. That you lower yourself, you make fana of yourself, that I am nobody. Now when a person reaches that stage that I am nobody, then how can I not comply? I'm a servant, I'm a slave, I have to comply. How can I not listen? Whether I like it or I don't like it, that's secondary. I must listen to what my master says. The other sabak we take from here, and we'll conclude with this, is that sometime we get very excited about dreams. We get very excited about dreams. Yes, certain dreams have a message. Certain dreams, they have a message. And a person was to find out the interpretation of the dream, that is fine. But what I am talking about is, a person sees, for example, the Kaaba Sharif in his dream, or he sees Medina Sharif in his dream, or he dreams of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or he dreams some other wonderful good dream. So definitely it's a wonderful thing. I mean, if a person has to dream Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if a person has to dream Kaaba Sharif, a person has to dream Roza Mubarak or dream the Gumbat, etc. These are wonderful things. But these dreams are not every time glad tidings. They are not glad tidings every time. Now the problem with us is, if a person sees a dream like that, he feels automatically now his name must be included in the Ashara Mubashara. You know Ashara Mubashara? Ashara Mubashara were those 10 Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum who were given glad tidings in their life. In one sitting they were given glad tidings of Jannat. Now the person sees one dream, now he thinks, no, they must make it Ihda Ashara Mubashara now. 11 came away now. He is also part of that. Many times those dreams are not basharat, they are inzar, they are warnings. Now take these people, fire worshippers, they are also seeing dreams, and true dreams. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam's time, all those dreams we talk about, true dreams, who sing? Non-Muslim people, mushrikeen. So sometimes a person sees a dream and it is a basharat, it is a glad tiding. Sometimes a person sees a dream and he is being given some indication of something that may happen, etc. The dream has got some message for him. Lot of times the dream is inzar, he is being warned in the dream. He's getting a warning in the dream. But we just take every dream to be like, So there was one person in Medina Sharif, he saw one dream. Outwardly the dream seemed very, very nice, very good dream. So he came to Hazrat Rahmatullahi to get an interpretation. So Hazrat told him, no, don't worry about this thing, don't worry about it. So he kept coming. He said, no, give me the interpretation of this dream. So eventually, Hazrat took him one side and asked him, that did you have to come all the way here to Medina Sharif to come commit zina? And outwardly when he was looking at the dream, he was thinking now, he is Poncello, top dream he had. But there are certain signs in the dream where people who got munasabat with interpretation of dreams, they know what to look for. I had seen a dream once, and outwardly it was, I can't remember exactly what the dream was, but there was a body. It wasn't a nice dream. There was a body there in the front and something, I can't even remember. It was some time back. And I saw this dream and I'm thinking now this, it was worrying me like a very, very bad dream this. So I asked Hazrat Rahmatullahi, I said I had this dream. So he told me, some calamity you will be saved from. That body was there and that body was moved away. It was taken away. Something, can't remember exactly what it was. But he told me some misfortune, some calamity will be removed from your life. And sometime after that, I even forgot about the dream, I forgot about the interpretation of the dream. But something happened, and after that, I was mentioning to Hazrat what happened, and he told me that's the interpretation of your dream. That's what your dream, that was the message of your dream. So Allah Ta'ala, we mustn't get too involved in the dream story. We must live a life of reality. What we do during the day, that's what we're going to be judged for. Not what happens in the night in a dream. That we're going to be answerable for that. Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.